Yo, family, what is good? Welcome back to another daily live stream on the channel where we have seen some extremely bullish news, hence why the markets are green across the board. Bitcoin up 4% right now, ETH up almost 6%, Solana up 7%, Casper up 2.7% right now. Markets are looking very good because of the recent macro report, which we're going to get to in today's stream. Alongside the other developments, the potential headwinds that's going to come through next week. So what we're seeing right now, while reassuring, this could just be a small little bounce before a potential capitulation, followed by hopefully the bottom, and then the relief rally from that point onwards as well, because all the information, the macro that does ultimately let us know how the economy is feeling right now, all this information that's been coming out recently has told us that the leading economists, the banks of JP Morgan and the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, they are completely wrong. They have been wrong about tariffs and how they impact inflation. The understanding was that with tariffs and with everything else going on, that inflation would go out of control. Don't get me wrong, Jerome Powell and the Fed, they have been trying to thread the needle to make sure they can get too out of control, and they've probably done a decent job at it in some aspect. But they are under the impression that tariffs are going to send inflation sky high. And as we look at it right now, we had the recent CPI inflation reports. On Wednesday, we had job reports that came in much better than expected. Now, it's still not great. 4.3% unemployment is still quite high. Anything above 5 is kind of deemed at recessionary level. So it's still not good, but it got better than expected, which is great. And then today, all the leading economists were saying we'll see an increase of 0.3%. We'll see inflation rally, get close to 3% inflation. And instead, inflation went from 2.7%, or CPI even, CPI from 2.7%, and went down to 2.4%. It was expected to come down, to be fair, but it was expected to come down at 2.5%. It went down even further than that, which is extremely bullish news. To put this into reference, family, on why it's so big, this is the lowest rating of inflation that we have seen since April 2025. To April 2025, this is the lowest inflation reading CPI we have seen, which is the same time Trump launched the tariffs. So during this 1 year span, almost 1 year span from when Trump launched the tariff, and CPI inflation is at the exact same level, which means that tariffs did cause that momentary increase in inflation, but that was it. And in fact, it has little to no impact on inflation right now. And then with core CPI, according to my information and my resources and my sources alone, the CPI, core CPI, is at the lowest level in almost 5 years. So we're now talking back to just after COVID. So inflation, CPI, inflation reports. Now, don't get me wrong, the Fed tend to use PCE, not CPI, but it's still an important inflation metric. And they have come in saying that the inflation, that tariffs don't impact inflation at all. We're at the same levels as before the tariffs were even implemented. And the core CPI is at levels that we saw just as COVID had kind of coming out of COVID, if you will, when inflation was extremely high because the Fed had to print a crap ton of money. So this is really bullish news, hence why the markets are acting in such a positive manner right now. Gold's gone above 5K. Silver's up 2% at 77. Bitcoin managed to momentarily touch at 69K. It's currently at 68,800, so it's still not far off it. Trading within the support band right here, which is reassuring. ETH at now above 2K again, which is nice, making that move today. XRP is up 3% right now, valued at $1.40. Solana at 84, up almost 8% right now. Casper at 0.032 or 3.22 cents, up 2.62% from the daily time frame. And funnily enough, or I say funnily enough, we know how TA works and we know what zone to look out for. This is a zone that is being respected, that the sellers have seemingly got quite a lot of control over. The buyers are seemingly unable to push Casper above 0.0322 right here. If you see today, trading day ending above this zone, is a good possibility. You see it continue. But keep in mind as well that there's still no verdict or decision in regards to the DHS funding, which means that you'll likely see, if there is no conclusion, a partial government shutdown tomorrow. That could drive FUD and send markets backwards a little bit. That's why I believe that this news, while very good, is more likely just a momentary relief. Now we've got to take that in our stride. You're using the incorrect microphone. It sounds terrible. Oh, I apologize. Well, I don't know why it changed.
There you go. Hopefully that fixed itself now. I don't know why it changed itself because I've not touched my setup at all. But hopefully it still made sense what I was saying despite the poor audio quality. I apologize for that. I literally haven't touched my setting at all. I've not been in my house all day. I just got home and just loaded up the stream. So why it changed, I have no idea. But thank you for letting me know, family. I apologize for that. But as we can see right now, markets are performing very, very well. And we'll probably make a small recap of that later on as well. But let me get into some other important sources. And with inflation being at such a better level right now, it does mean we have a higher possibility of seeing those rate cuts. Now, albeit I doubt we'll see rate cuts in March, and even the inflation and the rate cut metrics are saying something similar. They still are not pricing in rate cuts right now, believing it will not happen. 90% chance they won't see no rate cuts next month, which I'm not surprised by. It's a slightly increased possibility of seeing it in Jerome Powell's last FOMC meeting, albeit it's still not that high. But once Jerome Powell leaves and the first FOMC meeting in June, it's 50%, but borderline strong consensus that we're going to be seeing rate cuts as soon as Kevin Walsh takes over. And that's important because we're now seeing inflation not being a problem. It's coming down, it's cooling. We're seeing jobs, while it's still quite bad, it is getting stronger, slowly but surely, which is also reassuring, which means that when Kevin Walsh comes in, you have a strong US economy, you're cutting rates in a strong US economy, that does correlate to extremely strong volatility in risk-on assets in your crypto, your Bitcoin, your ETH, and in my belief, most definitely in your Casper and your AI assets as well that are all going to start booming with agentic AI being such a massive thing. In fact, I'm about to post institutional documentation into my VIP from Deloitte, which goes into a lot more detail about their 2026 outlook, which also coincides with agentic AI and why it's going to be so big. So if you want to find out more and see and get access to the document when it's posted, you can check out the VIP. Links are down below in the description. Join right now, you get a 7-day free trial as well. But that is great. It's great to see that the markets are performing great based on macro. But as I stated, this could be short-lived. Not to drive FUD, but to give an overall perspective of the sentiment of the markets right now. We have this post here. Supreme Court has now, I'm not going to take this at full face value because we've had the Supreme Court say like 4 or 5 times now that they're going to give their verdict on the tariffs, and they are yet to do so. Their final deadline, I believe, is in May, so they can still delay it if they choose to. But they're now saying that February 20th will be the opinion day for tariffs. US Supreme Court has set February 20th, so next Friday, as the opinion day on its ruling for the legality of Trump's tariffs. Markets predict a 72% chance the Supreme Court rules against the tariffs, which of course would be quite a negative thing in the market. I think you can understand that. You probably see quite a lot of headwinds as well off the back of that. Now, evidently we've seen that tariffs are not impacting the economy in regard to inflation, which is the main concern for tariffs. It's not impacting it nearly as much as, if anything at all, it's not impacting it at all. So you'd like to believe off that then the Supreme Court won't rule against the tariffs, but unfortunately it does not work like that. They just deem it as whether it's legal or not. So we'll see what happens next Friday, and this will ultimately, we've got another big week ahead of us. I believe that the ending of this week with this inflation report has set the foundation very, very strongly for the remainder of this year. I would have said for the remainder of the next couple of weeks, but these reports here will shift that sentiment, in my belief. The short term, any headlines can change that, but this here is a great mid to long term indicator. Jobs are getting stronger, inflation is coming down, which means that you can start seeing more room for rate cuts. The US economy is strengthening. The ISM is above 50, above 52 even. And it is hopefully going to continue in that trajectory. So if that is the case, then in the few months to come, sometime in and around summer, we can hope maybe end of summer, we can start seeing the economy start to rally again just towards the midterms, and we'll start seeing these markets boom. So we want to find these assets ideally while the price is low. And to full disclosure, I'm still not heavily in everything. Of course, I'm still DCing into Casper, but other assets that I've mentioned on stream and even privately to my VIPs, I've said that I'm not in them right now, but I'm looking into them closely to analyze and decide where that bottom's going to be. If you were in the stream yesterday, you would have heard me talk about these zones right now, like Tau, for example. It's quite a good zone for Tau right now, we can see. Render, it's got a very good zone, potentially approaching if it does come down as far. It depends on the imminent catalyst as well. You've got virtuals, POW, and you've got other assets as well, all of which there are many assets that I'm looking at that I will have in my portfolio, be it in AI, real world assets, or other means that you could check out, all in the VIP as well. Once more, links are down below in the description. Now, I will get into some more sources and also to cover next week's outlook and also the recent Casper wrap this as well. Before I do, let's get into the questions once again as well. So we had Dimitar here first. Welcome back, my man. You're doing very well. And you too, Brett. We need at least 10 cents. I mean, 10 cents is not unachievable by any means. I'm sure we'll end up seeing it at some point. And I can start 600 terahertz power. I mean, yeah, if you see Casper go above 10 cents, you'll see more miners coming online. It's a simple cause and effect. The same thing if the price is down, it's not cost efficient to mine Casper, so miners turn off. If the price goes up, vice versa. So if Casper goes above 10 cents, miners become more profitable again. You'll see more miners turning online, increase the hash rate, which is what we want to see. So that will happen, in my belief, when the market conditions are right. Right now, the conditions aren't right just yet. Well, they're getting better, evidently, but they're not right just yet. And yeah, thank you very much as well for all of the information and let me know about how bad my mic was, but we've sorted that now, thankfully. He will buy new when Casper hits at least 10 cents. Until that time, you have to listen on the cheap one. I mean, yeah, get into new miners, whatever it may be, when Casper hits 10 cents. Otherwise, then make do with what you got, right? I'm glad, although it will fix itself. When Casper hits at least 10 cents, he will buy a silver one, as he should. Sound like it's in a fishbowl. Oh. See, I wonder what Michael is being used then. Because, I mean, ultimately, when I go on my settings, it just says like, well, I've connected it to my Yeti. But it had it set to default. Now, I don't know what the default actually is. I don't know what the default... Maybe the default's referring to this then. Which, understandable, because it's some terrible wired headset mics. But, like, either way, the mic is set to where it should be now. I'm going to double check to see my other audio is also correct. Is that correct? I hope so. You know what? We'll just vibe with it. If there's an issue, I'm sure you people will let me know again. We'll come back Wing Hong, bro. You're doing very well. We are mooning right now. We are doing better right now. I do think it's a bit short-lived right now. I think we'll see next week potentially seeing some more corrections, and then we'll see that pump going towards kind of Q2, Q3 time, and then a kind of big rally more so end of year. Welcome back as well, Double D, my man. All puts in place for Casper. I'm confident 88% will be good soon. The payday comes, friends, 100%. I'm also extremely confident that Casper is going to perform very well in due time. So up and to the right. Not just yet. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen just yet. Not just yet. I think we're going to see a bit of relief right now. But here's what's happening in the next kind of 7 days as we know it right now. Potential government shutdown starting tomorrow. That will cause some headwinds. We are seeing the Supreme Court decide on Trump's tariffs on Friday, also potentially cause some headwinds. You also have been seeing the Pentagon sending the Navy largest and most advanced aircraft carrier to the Middle East. So you're seeing geopolitical tensions and escalations happening right now. That's also not good for markets. Now, thankfully, it's not impacted the markets right now, but if there ends up being... The reason why is to my understanding from what I've read through the Wall Street Journal's document here, is to deter... It's to kind of get negotiations on the table and get to a reasonable conclusion. But the only thing is, this could have the opposite effect. You know, by scaling up your military on the border, this could result in a, retaliation from Iran. I can only hope not, because that would be, who wants to see a war, right? No one wants to see a war. That'd be disastrous for markets and for, of course, humans as well, who would be caught in the crossfire. But that's been the big concern I've been seeing from many of the economists and analysts and stuff that I look into, and I post to my VIP, that they are a lot of the people are saying that they are concerned about the implications that can happen with America up in the military to combat and deter Iran, but that can cause a negative consequence, and of course Iran to end up retaliating. If that happens, that could be bad. So we've got to keep a close eye on that. So ultimately today, and frankly this week, was good, despite the price action for the most part being quite flat. It was quite flat this week for price action. This week we saw a great job report. This week we also saw really, really good inflation reports as well. And we also saw, if we go through my community real quickly as well, we also saw some other good reports in respects of earning reports from institutions as well. So it's been a good day, a good week even in regards to reports. It's just the markets are still so very much used to pricing in FUD and just acting in a FUD mentality, which is why the worries about government shutdown caused markets to come back. The worries about the reason why the markets came back so much recently is because they were worried about inflation coming back at a very, very bad reading. It came back great. That's why the markets are pumping. But they priced in bad inflation reports. Now the opposite's happened. But next week, we'll have to see how it pans out. But next week could be a week for headwinds. If we do have another government shutdown, partial, that could also cause some headwinds. This could have some headwinds if it does rule against the tariffs. And then, of course, if we see any more escalation in the Middle East, also downward price action. But we've been very transparent about that. We know that what drives markets right now is not developments from projects. It is macro and geopolitics. And frankly, if you are someone, and I say with utmost respect, if you're someone who believes that these developments that we talk about with Casper and other projects happen, we talk about updates about projects and stuff continuously, because it's important to understand what is being built. But if you are someone who sees that and believes it's going to pump the price, you need to get out of 2021. Project updates and developments would have caused a FOMO pump in 2021, the last cycle. That's not happened anymore. The markets only pump from geopolitical tensions, what Trump says, macro headwinds, or macro headlines, I should say, and institutional adoption. Albeit that one's not as important right now. It's mainly geopolitics and macro. That's what drives markets. Project updates, be it Confidence VPROGs, be it Solana connecting to, I think Solana had an update where they combined to launch real asset tokenization with Ondu. That's quite big for Solana. That didn't cause a pump because it doesn't matter anymore. That's not what moves markets. What moves markets is macro and geopolitics. That's why every single stream now, whether you enjoy this stuff or not, you need to understand this stuff. That's why every single stream we go through the general fundamental news, because this lets us know how the market should be moving in the short term and potentially how they could move in the medium to long term as well. Then once we get through all of this stuff here, which is important, then we move on to the project updates that ultimately help build a stronger foundation for when the markets do recover. They have more to build off and therefore could have a stronger recovery as well. Of course, time will tell. But that's why I stay bullish on Casper. Casper's building so much right now. They don't correlate to price pumps right now, but when the markets return, you can see so much more adoption because they have a much better infrastructure, much better base layer for everything to be built on top of it. Funny enough, just speaking about it as well, why do Caspians believe price will go up because tech? It never does. I literally have never said that. If you've been tuning into these streams frequently enough, you would have heard me say repeatedly, these developments do not correlate to price pumps, at least not in the short term. They don't correlate to price pumps at all. What drives the market is macro and geopolitics. This stuff here we're going to get through in a moment are huge game-changing updates. These do not pump prices. If you, I don't know where that conception is coming from, where people believe that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that. I've repeated that time again. These stuff are huge, game-changing posts. These do not pump the price. And as you are somebody, and I say this with respect again, if you're someone who sees it up to think, oh, Casper's going to the moon next week type of thing, because you're seeing VPOG. When VPOGs come out, will that be big? Yes. Will that pump the price? No. Why would it? It's a foundation building block. It helps in the idea of getting more adoption and liquidity onto Casper that ends up correlating to higher demand while the supply is still going down. It's a game-changing update, but it does not correlate to price pumps. So I've never said that. But the price can go up if the tech is really, really good. But it doesn't happen overnight. Will it be great in 10 years? Most definitely, in my belief. I believe Casper will be fantastic in 10 years. I don't think it's going to take 10 years either, though. Because one thing that retail severely underestimates is how quickly the space is moving. And I don't blame you, because not everyone here has the information at hand. If you listen to Tuesday night's blockchain banter show with myself and Crypto Pumps and Pavel, you would have heard him talk about how severely underestimated we are with AI and how you could see such a massive, massive upgrade and increasing adoption, all these elements very soon. I think Jer said 10 years and Pavel said sooner, 2-3 years. How quickly the space is going to evolve with the help of AI, nobody's ready for. And I've posted documents on my page about it. We spoke about this one recently with BNY Mellon and McKinsey, where they estimate that in the next 13 years or so, that $106 trillion will be necessary to help in the restructuring of global finance and infrastructure. And AI is a key part to that. That number is 3 times the US debt. That is a huge amount of capital needed in the next 13 years or so. It's going to sit, and by 2030, which is only 3-4 years away from now, AI data centers are going to 4 times. It's going to be 4 times more data centers than they are right now. So AI is going to take off extremely quickly. And that could correlate to significantly faster and quicker and more impactful price rallies when the time's right. The idea of it's going to take 10 years, I get it. And I'm not saying you're incorrect in that belief. But is that based on your just belief or based on the research you've done? Because the research I've done has told me that the space is moving extremely quickly. And the document I'm about to post later today in my VIP from Deloitte also talks about how quick this space is going to move. And stuff's going to take place this year as well. Which is why I think it's very important to understand more so how the markets move. In the VIP, we talk about the recent updates in regards to macro and geopolitical updates that will also correlate to price moves. We also talk about the institutional sentiment as well. So we know what the institutions are looking into, what they're researching, and where they're investing. We know how quickly the space is going to evolve. Therefore, we are staying ahead of the retail market. Those who are still under the belief that we are years and years away from anything significant, we are not that far off at all. And you can learn more about it and how in the VIP right here. Join our 7-day free trial or even a 1-month free trial through BYDFI, our affiliate exchange. You can find out more about that in the free Discord server. Links are all down below in the description. But we are not that far off from that euphoric run that everybody is hoping for. But because we've been in pain for so long, everyone's just given up on that aspect now. And FUD's taking over. Why anyone adopts Solana when ETH exists? Because it was pre-trad 5 paper Bitcoin. It doesn't matter if we suppose adoption at innovation is good enough. I mean, welcome back, Ghost Uber, very, very well. And I mean, yeah, you can. If you wait 10 years, you'll be fine. No doubt about it. If you wait 10 years, you'll be fine. I have whole faith that we can be waiting 10 years to be fine. But I don't think it's going to take 10 years for us to see something significant. That's my point. It takes another 10 years. Just going through the questions real quickly as well. You think we can get 1 cent Casper in the next months? If you're asking, can we get to 1 cent? I don't know. I would say no. If you're saying we get into the 1 cent range, so anything below 2 cents, then possibly. Because I have drawn it out here. If we continue seeing more headwinds, 2 cents is a support zone I have, and you might see, in order to flush out any potential long setups at 2 cents, you can see it dip below 2 cents into like maybe 1.9, 1.95, and then you see it push back up again. So you could see it into the 1 cent range, but it does wholeheartedly depend on these developments. If we see this escalate badly, then yes. If you see war, yes, you'll see markets capitulate. If these tariffs get ruled illegal, that could also impact the market significantly. So it's not impossible right now. That's my wholehearted take. It's not me being bearish. It's me being realistic based on market sentiment, understanding how the markets move. The markets move because of this stuff here. If this comes back bad, we'll see markets go down. That's literally all it is. And then when the bottom's in, these developments, these tech updates will create such a strong foundation that when the markets do reverse, the explosion could be even more significant. Thank you very much again, Wing Hong. I appreciate you very much. Welcome back, Wyatt, my man. You're doing very, very well. I'm just looking for the question real quickly. I'm not going to go through the whole conversation between Kryptoni and Iotan. But I'm just going to go through any other questions that come through real quick. Are the rumors true that Walsh is out as Fed chair? I've not heard any rumors about that. I wouldn't be surprised because, with respect, Trump changes his mind a lot. So it wouldn't surprise me if he did, if Walsh is out. But ultimately, until we see the new Fed chair change in May, it could be anybody. It's being confirmed by Trump to be Kevin Walsh, but who knows? I haven't seen anything about that. I'm sure we'll hear more about it soon. Regardless of who it is, who the next Fed chair, with respect, it doesn't matter. And I say that because the new Fed chair is going to be someone who literally just is going to be a shadow chairman. What I mean by that is that the new Fed chair is going to do exactly what Trump wants. Jerome Powell's not done what Trump wants. The new Fed chair is going to be someone that Trump picks. He's going to do exactly what Trump wants. So it's not going to be this person. Kevin Walsh, technically speaking, won't be the new Fed chair. It's just going to be him as a frontman for Trump. That's seemingly how it's going to play out. So it doesn't really matter who the new Fed chair is. Just once Jerome Powell leaves, the markets will likely stop performing better because Trump will just start pumping liquidity into it. Welcome back, Kryptoni. Falco, brother, you're doing very, very well, man. People think Casper pumps. You know what I mean? You know, I've had it so much recently as well. Many, many comments from different people recently just talking and again, I don't want to say that I don't want to sound like I'm being inconsiderate, because I understand people being frustrated with the price of Casper for the last year and a bit now, almost 2 years now. But it's been very evident, and I've been very transparent in saying this for months, if not years now. Tech updates do not correlate to price pump, not in the market we're in right now. They are great to lay a foundation for the market to recover. Right now, the market is not going to pump. Why would it? There's no incentive for the market to pump right now. No one wants to hold anything that's risky. That's why gold is nearing all-time highs. A bit of a pullback now, but gold's nearing all-time highs. Silver, like these, everything's rotating into the safe havens because right now no one's confident in the markets. So you can't expect them to pump. Mana keeps going burr, as it should do, Falco. Shout out to you, my man. Shout out to you indeed. I mean, I don't disagree that there's a strong... I mean, I don't disagree because there has been evidence of such that your market makers, your Binances have been very much controlling crypto and squeeze people out of the market. I don't disagree with that. But what's that got to do with... I guess the point you're trying to make is because Binance controls the markets, they're going to stop Casper from pumping for 10 years. And, I mean, that's a very speculative comment to make. While we have seen evidence of Binance manipulating the markets, which is fair enough, and they have done. That's why everyone's frustrated with them right now, and they're calling them out on it. We have seen market makers manipulate the price of cryptos to suggest that therefore they're going to keep Casper down because it's a threat, whatever it is. That's speculative by its nature. If the markets right now, nothing is pumping, be it Binance, be it Coinbase, whatever it is, the markets are not pumping. Get out of the bubble of Casper. I know it's tough to say considering I'm a Casper Maxi and a Caspian, and I'm only holding Casper and stables pretty much right now. I'm all in pretty much a Casper dominated channel, but get out of the Casper bubble. Like, we got to stop thinking about Casper's price. Look at the broader market. Right now, the markets are not pumping. Not Casper, the markets are not pumping. We can look at price if you really want to. Casper's currently down 84% from all-time highs. Let's look at other projects, shall we? Let's look at Quant. From the recent peak, not even all-time highs, recent peak, down 60%. That's still not good for Quant, a more so battle-tested project with VC backing. AVAX, which happened this year as well. AVAX down 86%. Let's look at Ondu, right? Ondu with the backing of BlackRock, no less. Tokenizing raw assets, down 88%. Tau, leading AI project in this cycle. Like, this is why I think talking about price is so with just irrelevant almost. It's not stupid entirely because price is ultimately what we're looking at to see if we're making gains or not. But if you solely focus on price alone, it's just not going to work out. And if you're only focusing on one project, it's not going to work out. Casper's done badly, yes, but it's done badly for a longer period of time. Could have been happening since August 1st, 2024, but that's 85%. Most of the projects I just highlighted are down similarly 80+%, and they happen in a smaller time frame. So Casper just had a more gradual fall off as opposed to a sharp one that other projects have done. That's all it is. That's why, like, I don't disagree that your Binances and whatnot are potentially or seemingly confirmed manipulating the price of cryptos. I don't disagree that that's happening. It's likely happening, but right now the whole market is not pumping. It's not Casper. Crypto's not pumping. Crypto altcoins are down 80+%. It's not Casper, it's altcoins. Right now, what's driving the markets is not Binance. I mean, it is. They are playing a part into it. It's not Binance and market makers. It's geopolitics and macroeconomics. That's literally what, every time you see this, markets go down. Every time you see positive macro data, markets go up. What drives the markets is fundamentals, not manipulation. Manipulation is a part of it, but that doesn't drive the market solely. It's this stuff that drives the markets. That's the research, and that's not the speculative research. That's the actual research, because it happens. The success rate of analyzing these trends with market analysis has been, 99%. The big crash of October 10th, that's because Trump issued tariffs on China. Binance played a big part in manipulating the price, calling it to come down so much, but that was Trump issuing tariffs on China. FUD came about, market crash. Binance escalated it, made it worse, but the markets crashed. But it happened because Trump issued tariffs on China, which people don't like the idea of tariffs. That's what happened. It didn't just happen because Binance said, oh, screw, we're going to do it anyways. They found a catalyst, a reason to do it. Nobody cared about price like that. Real Cyberpunks in the chat and believe the next evolution. I mean, don't get me wrong, we do care about price, but we don't talk about prediction and that sort of stuff because we understand that the tech element correlates to the price. We're not here because we just believe in Casper. Some of us are, but we're here also because we believe in Casper as the next form of money, but also Casper as a great investment opportunity because it is what it is and should perform very well. So we do care about price. But we should understand these tech updates do not correlate to price pumps. They just don't. Trump did mention it. He said he was recommendation, and now he thinks he jumped the gun on the decision. Right. I mean, okay, I haven't seen the post, Don, but I will take your word for it. I'll see if I can find something more about it later on. Again, it wouldn't surprise me if Trump did change his mind on Kevin Walsh, because when he announced Kevin Walsh, the markets crashed, or they came back hard because Kevin Walsh is typically perceived as very, very hawkish. Which, to reiterate again, whoever Trump picks is going to do what he wants. So it doesn't really matter who he picks. It's going to be someone who just does what Trump's bidding. But understandably, when the markets heard Kevin Walsh, they know his track record and thought, oh, he's very, very hawkish. He doesn't want to cut rates. He doesn't want to issue. He doesn't want to print money. So markets have come down a lot from his announcement. So if he's pulled back on that now, wouldn't surprise me because he wants to try and save his market, save the skin. User good work, QC. You asked Pavel and other guests good questions. I'm just curious, what will it take to move Casper other than all market go up? Good question. And I thank you for the compliment. And the answer right now is there is nothing. Because nothing is going to move without the whole market. Right now, we are in a Bitcoin dominant market. That's just how it is. Bitcoin dominance is near 60%. While Bitcoin dominance is so high, everything, more or less, everything's going to follow Bitcoin. And right now, even the S&P 500, this stuff only moves with macro and fundamentals. So right now, nothing, apart from your niche exceptions based on, like VC back and whatever, nothing's going to pump just because it can. Nothing's going to do that. You shouldn't expect anything to pump against the market right now. Casper did once upon a time, and that was fantastic, and we loved it for that. But you shouldn't expect something to pump against the market. The market should move. What you can expect is something to pump more. What you should more so expect is not Casper to pump against Bitcoin in the market. You should expect, or I say expect, it's more than likely to see When the markets reverse and the markets start pumping, Casper starts outperforming and pumps even more so because it has better technology and better infrastructure. And hopefully, therefore, more adoption comes in. That's how it should function. That's how it should work. That's how markets realistically should work. You shouldn't see necessarily assets pumping when there's no liquidity coming in. Right now, only thing that's happening is people taking money out. No one's putting money into crypto right now. I think the big institutions showed their hand on October 10th, where the prices will go and then bounce. Yeah, I mean, what you ultimately are seeing are the big market makers, big institutions who have first dibs on markets and movements and whatnot and control the markets. They are also looking, the information that I talk about with my VIPs is not just sentiment that I believe in, it's my belief combined with institutional and leading economic research. So the opinions you get from the ones who run the market is their opinions, and then I'm correlating my own belief based on that. That's why I've been able to be very accurate in the market movements, be able to judge the market's trajectory, because I'm looking at what's happening right now. I'm able to analyze the short term and also make predictions. The hard stuff, the long-term predictions. But I've seen enough information from Deloitte, BNY Mellon, Baker McKinsey, PwC, all talking about what should be happening later this year and what will cause that catalyst to go up, what the pump will happen. Which is why I'm still bullish on crypto, despite the pullbacks right now and the 50% down from all-time highs, because I do see where the market should be returning. Institutions right now see the same data we do. They just get into it first and have more liquidity. And they send the markets down when you see tariff headlines, when you see some other negative headline of Trump or whatever, you see the markets go down. When you see good macro data, good negotiations going through, markets go up. But is that my trading strategy, my success in this market, which has actually been successful. Holding Casper is down, right? But Casper is its own niche exception. Holding Casper goes down right now. But as it comes to just to predicting the market movements, the accuracy of our VIP community has been near 100%. Of course, certain exceptions like, October 10th, nobody really predicted that because no one thought Trump would issue tariffs on China when it did. And it happened, and then we understood tariffs would cause pullbacks. We understand what tariffs do for markets. The same way how we anticipated what would happen from the government shutdown that happened last weekend. Markets came back. We know what happens from that. So we're not ignorant to that. When Bitcoin came to 60K, we're not ignorant to that either. The corrections have been bigger than we anticipated, by all accounts, from everyone. But the developments and catalysts and stuff that cause the markets to move, we're fully aware of what happens. So it's just a case of knowing how the markets move. And my analysis of the market has been very much technical analysis, just looking at where you've seen support and resistance zones, which you see on these charts right now for Bitcoin. And then you just see what these developments are on the day and what that could likely do for markets. This stuff, bad. If it escalates, you'll see markets come down. This stuff, you might see some potential corrections to price it in, but we've had it 3 times now. The Supreme Court has said we're going to give a ruling on it, and they haven't done it. So until it happens, I'm not really bothered by this. I would not be surprised to see the Supreme Court just to back out again and not give their verdict. But these stuff will cause market movement. That's what you need to pay attention to. The macro cause market movement. You need to pay attention to that as well. And you can stay up to date with all of that and have the summary and the breakdown and be ahead of the markets once more in the VIP here. Join our 7-day free trial, get ahead of the markets, predict what's going to happen, look at our portfolio and what we're going to be getting into when the markets reach that bottom. You can find all of that out down below in the description. And while the markets are doing what they're doing right now, we're still making gains through trading. So while the markets are down, our holdings and investments of Casper are down, we're still making money. And then we can use that money and put that back into our beliefs like Casper as well. Or hold stable coins. So I'm not bothered by this correction right now at all, the market behavior, because I'm very much happy that I can scoop cheap, continue trading, continue making money, and just scoop cheap. DCA. I'm very much late to the questions now, but that's also, as I kind of proved, quite incorrect. Like, we've looked at other projects already. There are some exceptions that have done okay, but you look at Quant, and we do it from its all-time high now. Actually, I don't even need to. So Quant's down more than Kaspa, and that's a VC-backed project. AVAX, also we can see definitely more than 80% down. That's a VC-backed project, proof of stake. Canton's a new one that's come out and that's done very well. That's a niche exception. Ondu, backing of BlackRock. Right? We've already covered that one as well. Down, same thing. Tau, AI, we've done that. We've done Render. What else could I show? Solana. Solana is one of the big caps. They have a little bit of a niche exception, but from its all-time high, Solana, down 72%. So you look in the big caps now, ones that are top 10, they're still down 70+%. So Casper may be down 87%, which you're not incorrect in analyzing that because that's evident, but is not necessarily down the most proof of stake VC-backed coins because we just analyzed a few of them here. Of course, I'm nitpicking, but this is stuff that these are also assets that I also think will do quite well, full disclosure. But you can see a lot of these projects right now are also down as if not more so than Casper. And these are proof of stake VC-backed projects. And that means they have the liquidity to keep the price inflated. A lot of these proof of stakes haven't got the utility. They're just keeping the price inflated as they can do. Casper is organic. And it's performing the exact same. Without any VC backing, it's performing the exact same as the other VC projects. What does that tell you? Once more, we need to get out of the bubble. The bubble suggests that Casper's doing worse than everything else, but it's actually not. It's doing the exact same. All Casper has done is had a longer drawback from August 2024 as opposed to January 2025 or December 2024. Most projects had their correction. Here, look, like Quant. It was December 2024, so that's 5 months later when Trump was elected. Most projects pumped massively and made all-time highs from Trump winning the elections. And then they came back continuously since then. Capital did it earlier. But they're all down the exact same percentage. But anyways, you can continue chatting in the comments. I'm sure I've probably missed some potentially important questions, but okay, fair enough, Don. Well, I will see if I can find it and I'll probably post it in. Well, actually, there won't be a stream tomorrow, or it's unlikely to be a stream tomorrow, but maybe on Sunday. But I'll make sure to find it and show it on stream if I can find it. Yeah, most likely. I know, right? Weird coincidence. Almost too coincident. I'll go through the questions real quickly, see if anything else I can talk about. Otherwise, then I'm sure Kryptoni and Tan can just keep going at it. As long as you're staying respectful, I don't care how much you talk in the chat. In fact, I encourage it. I like you guys talking. If there's something you want me to actually look at, then at me. Because otherwise, then I'm going to assume you guys are just talking between yourselves. And I've said, I think enough of my piece in regards to why I'm not bothered by Casper's price. I think AI took a lot of the money from crypto this cycle. No, I think it was Bitcoin. AI's definitely taken a lot. I don't disagree with you, Rizzy, but I think it's been a lot of Bitcoin. From crypto cycle, I think it's been a lot of Bitcoin because Bitcoin had the ETF. So institutions got into Bitcoin. It didn't get into anything else in crypto. But AI is going to be a significantly massive. I mean, you can literally watch the video I posted yesterday, which gave the rundown of this document here, plus this here, plus the interview with Pavel in regards to AI. You can check it for yourself and see why AI is going to be so big. I highly recommend doing so on my channel right there. While you're at it, also subscribe and leave a like on this stream as well. Yeah, that's also true. That's what I mean. I mean, also full disclosure, Hype is one that I'm gonna probably buy. Do I like Hyperliquid? No. I think it's quite a dodgy project, if I'm being completely frank. I know it sounds very weird, but ultimately, me as an investor, I analyze my risk to reward. I think Hype's one that could perform quite well in the market's reverse. I'm hoping to see a certain price target for Hype. I've mentioned that in my VIP. What price I'm looking for. Once it gets to that price, I'm stacking some Hype. I think it's got enough infrastructure there and enough around that project that it can start performing well in the market's reverse. It will be very much a kind of a, maybe 3-4x project and get out. and then before it comes back on itself. But there are, hype one equally that is inflated. The VC keep the project up, tokenauts keep the project up. Many of these projects have the very same mechanics. They're all the exact same, and yet Casper performing as well, or as badly, I should say. I didn't hear about that, but that's not a problem to me if that is the case, because you've got DRI Energy who are looking to build more data centers, and they're building them. They're building them on Casper. Where is it? I showed that as well. Let me find the post. I didn't hear about that. I'll have a look into that myself, Tan, to see if that is the case. But if that is the case, and they're moving to AI data centers, for one, I'm not surprised. Not at all. Because AI is the future. And if it's cheaper, that makes sense. But at the same time, we have literally got documentation from DRI that proves they are building these new data centers in the Middle East on Casper. And I showcased that in yesterday's video as well. So you can look at it. You can look at the video I posted yesterday. Not that one, sorry. That one. And you can literally see for yourself. But it's the post. Where's the post? Around here, I believe. There. You can see the post here. DRI. MENA Energy Outlook 2026. Renewables, hydrogen, and energy storage insight 2030. DRI Data Energy. You got Ministry of Energy and Infrastructure at UAE. You got Mazda. You got some huge companies there talking about the clean energy pyramid. And then this exact slide shows the energy source, the carriers, the virtual and settlement layer as Casper's block DAG, the market, and then even here you can see data centers and AI. So if DRI are planning to do that, which they are, and they can get this to working, which I believe they will do, then it means that this data center, you're going to see a 4x in data centers being built in the next 3 or 4 years. And you're going to see data centers being built on blockchain on Casper. So if Marathon are switching, that's not a bad thing. If anything, it means they're going to be using Casper protocol. So, or a crypto protocol in itself anyways. But Casper is, as we covered in yesterday's video, is the kind of current #1 protocol in the market for AI agents. So, yeah. AI agents will reach the point of diminishing returns in the next couple of years. Yeah, possibly. Possibly. But we have time to wait for that at least. Anyways, I have spoken enough in regards to questions. Been a massive Q&A effectively, which sometimes we need these streams, honestly, because it's always great to go through my stuff and the stuff I have. But sometimes there's not a lot to talk about, I'll be honest. And having a stream like today where we can just talk is nice, because it means I can get the actual conversation with the community and see what they believe. And it's nice having Iotan in here as well. I know he's not the generic Casper supporter that we all are. In saying that, I know he's bullish on Casper. He's just saying, let's be realistic and wait 10 years, which I don't think is an incorrect statement to have either. But it's nice having that fresh take as opposed to just everyone saying bullish, 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 which we are bullish, of course, but it's the slow and steady approach. And then we can talk amongst ourselves in regards to why we either agree with the statement or don't. Like the talk about price, we can disprove it. The talk about Binance and stuff like that, we can also talk about it. There's nothing against Ayatan at all. I think he's got a very valid point in regards to what he's making, but I can also, with respect, disagree with elements of that because I am seeing what information I'm looking at. I'm completely relying on KRI for Casper. I think it's a good perspective to have. When you think about KRI and DRI and their partners, SGCC, the Infrastructure of Energy, Ministry of Energy and Infrastructure and UAE, Mazda, SGCC, we said PwC, all these massive institutions right now, all this stuff right now, it's like there are a lot of things that KRI are building. We've seen a lot of their projects already they've announced. Warp Cores in a sandbox environment, that's huge. You've got Eden Flow that's already out, which seems to be really, really big. You've got GeoSeal, which is absolutely massive, and that is currently live. So I am very, very bullish on KRI and what they're building. People don't trust them because you haven't seen the product, and I understand that. But you're not ever going to see the product because it's institutionalized. You're not going to see what all the stuff happening behind the scenes, but it's being built right now. This is happening right now. And this will take a while to build. So you might not be incorrect in saying it might take 10 years for all of it to properly scale up to a massive use case, but you'll start seeing the effects of this happening sooner because of how rapidly space is going to evolve. I think you'll see significant impacts in the next within a year. You'll see some significant rallying in the market, and Casper will start outperforming people based on the RTD flywheel that Polinsky's creating with the Casper Research Development Core team, Igra Labs and their layer 2 hope to be very, very successful. AI agents coming on board, which Pavel spoke about that. I believe he said it's going to happen sooner as well. I'm trying to remember how much sooner he said. But he said it's going to happen very soon, like a lot sooner than we realize. But anyway, let's get some more quick announcements then, because I actually do have some other stuff to do, so I won't be too much longer. We've got this announcement here. CFTC announces a 35-member Innovation Advisory Committee, which includes Coinbase, Polymarket, Ripple, Kraken, Gemini, Chainlink Labs, and Robinhood. Ultimately, whether you trust the institution or not is a big deal because it highlights that you're seeing a more general acceptance of crypto firms, fintech firms in helping in the navigation of policies in the United States for crypto, which is big. So that's quite a big deal. You've got NASDAQ in there. You've got blockchain.com in there. You've got many others. The Solana Labs are in there as well. So that is pretty big news. And we've got other updates as well. This is a rundown post from Casper Commons in regards to KRP20, which is a pretty big rundown in regard to what it is. Simply put, KRP20 gives Covenants a built-in way to track their identity over time as funds move from one transaction to the next. Without this, applications built on Covenant would need to repeatedly prove where they came from by including parent or even grandparent transactions each time value state change. So it significantly this KRP20 shortens the amount of work and time it takes for Covenants to do what they need to do, which is fantastic. And it makes it easier to build apps on Casper as well because of that as well. So you're seeing a lot of significant posts coming out. KRP17, Silverscript, a lot of stuff's been built on Casper. Of course, all these posts I will be putting in my Discord server if I haven't done so already. So you can at least join the free Discord server, links down below, and you can tune into all the posts and comments and insights being put in there from everybody in the community, not just myself. Greg put some great chart analysis, Cody put some great research in there as well, and everyone else who contributes as well. Be it even Pakod, who he came in for the first time in a while just screaming Casper, as we love. I was very happy to see that, actually. I missed it. I think I missed it. Who gave the laughing emoji? Yeah, it was Chef. No surprise there. So yeah, you want to find out more, check out the free community there. They had a new update here from Hans, another PR as well, which is another big one to my understanding, which I've given a kind of a very brief look through this. This is basically it's basically a feature that it significantly improves like the data consistency that would be coming for it's basically a massive upgrade that also will help in the rolling out of Covenants on Casper. So right now, all the big upgrades we're seeing should all be correlated to Covenants and or VProgs and rolling them out on Casper. Because remember, Michael Sutton and Hans are both building their own elements out to bridge it together. They're trying to build this bridge between Covenants and VProgs. So all these upgrades, all these PRs are a way to bridge that together. So this is another big update in that regard. Once more, I'll post that in the Discord community. And then the Casper Media also spoke about this as well in regards to what we saw recently. Talking about Covenants, the developments towards the May hard fork, because that's something really important as well we should know. In respect of what Michael Sutton stated, we should be seeing the hard fork happening on May 5th, 2026. That is the belief and the hope we have. So 80 days time, we should be seeing another hard fork and a major upgrade for Casper. And to reiterate, no, that will not pump the price. It will not, unless the markets are in a better position by May. And who knows, it might be. But that alone will not pump the price. If the markets are better, great. If they're not, it'll be a great foundation building block. You know, that's all it is. But it's still big. KIP, Testnet 12 relaunch with new Covenants and ZK features, fantastic. And so much more taking place right now. We are in a very innovative and busy time for Casper, which is great because this busyness, this development is what builds that great solid foundation. The way that I think it was Wolfie explained it, business development Wolfie, not KYC 20 Wolfie. He explained it at what Casper is right now in regard to what's being built is Casper's got roots, right? You've got 3 roots right now, for example, say 3 roots in Casper right now. Every single VPOG update, every single Covenant update, every single Dagonet update, it extends many roots out of the root, creating a stronger foundation. Which means when the tree grows, it will grow bigger and stronger. That's ultimately what's happening right now. All these building blocks are helping strengthen that foundation for Casper. So when the markets do reverse, it will grow and explode bigger and stronger. So that's why these developments are important for future price movement. That's why we continue talking about this sort of stuff. And we'll continue to talk about these macro and fundamental updates that affect the short term. And you can tune into a lot more insights, lots more breakdowns, institutional backing, and the future forward-looking indicators based on institutional sentiment in the weekly live streams in the VIP and the content and the documentation in there as well. Which once more, you can check that out. Links are down below in the description. And you join right now, you can get a 7-day free trial to it as well. Those who've been a part of it have very much enjoyed it, being a part of it for a long, long time now. And we're going to try and get ahead of the market and call this bottom, price this bottom in, so we can ride that wave all the way up to the top. Now, before I wrap up today's stream, let's get through a few more questions real quickly. Welcome back, Buffalo, my man. You're doing very, very well, my man. Just reading through some questions as well. Walsh needs to drop rates to 1% so I can post my son's bail. I mean, I think it'll be a long-winded process. I think he'll start cutting rates if it is Walsh, although Don highlighted that apparently Trump is changing his mind on that based on a video, an interview or video with him saying it. In the new Fed chair, be it Walsh, be whoever it is, he's going to lower rates. Will it be 1%? Don't think it'll come down that quickly, because that will cause a rise in inflation. But you will see a incremental decrease in inflation. The current predicament, I think, is 100 basis points, so down 1%, which would be pretty big. If tech doesn't pump the price and only makes markets go up, which means everything, that's different. If tech doesn't pump the price and only when the markets go up, which means everything, what's the difference between buying Casper or Pepe? Because I thought I'd said why. Tech doesn't make the price go up in the short term. It creates a more solid foundation for the price to explode more significantly, and it has more infrastructure, which creates greater trust for builders and institutional investors to get on board of it. Pepe's a meme. There is nothing keeping Pepe up besides community and sentiment. Casper's got infrastructure. Eventually, there's going to be a crypto culling. That's pretty much what I'm seeing Crypto talking about here as well. Eventually, there's going to be a crypto culling where 99% of cryptos are all going to go to zero. Because they're either scams, they offer no utility, they're memes, whatever it is. Casper is building a future-proof infrastructure that will not die. That's what Casper's building. That's the idea, effectively, of what's being built on Casper. Memes will pump and dump because they're memes. People want to make quick money. Casper is not a meme. It's an infrastructure. It's a protocol. Something that's going to hopefully be built on top of by everybody in the future. That's our belief. What this tech does is create more incentives for institutions like KII to want to build on Casper. Because it's stronger tech. It's decentralized tech. Which means you will get more adoption and higher prices. KII are not going to build on Pepe. They're building on Casper because of the tech. And that creates more roots, covenants, VPOGs create more roots, a stronger foundation that allows this price pump to be bigger. Is there a behind the scene nugget you can share when you spoke to Roy after the stream? Was there behind this? I'll be honest. One, I don't think so. Because when I was talking with Rory, with myself, Crypto Pumps, it was like 1 a.m. where I was at. I just remember it being like, oh, that's so cool what you're saying. I was so tired. I'll be honest, with respect, I was so tired. I had to wake up at like 6 the next morning as well. I was shattered. He was basically just explaining what he spoke about on stream and then having a very casual conversation about anything and everything with Casper, right? Just the stuff being built, Egen Flow, GeoSeal, olive chain, stuff that he said on stream, basically just reiterating that. And like, yeah, it's exciting stuff. It's exciting stuff. But unfortunately, there's no nuggets. If there was, I would tell you. But I honestly was so tired that if there was, I've forgotten it. I'll be so for real. I've forgotten it. I was shattered. Wait, what's that comment there? Okay, yeah, it's basically what I addressed to as well. Is Roy Stotter legit, or does he fake it for sex appeal? No, it's legit. It's legit. I very much appreciate Roy. He's a fantastic speaker. The starter be the starter, but he's a fantastic speaker. He's a fantastic man. So, yeah. We'll hear a lot more from him soon as well. I've seen it's been about, a month now since he was on the BB show. I don't want to make it like a reoccurring thing, but, KR IP cooking quite a lot right now. So you might... I'll see if we can... If there's something else... Next week, or this Tuesday coming up, you're going to see Zealous and Cascad coming on board, talking about what they're building, which is going to be very exciting. We'll get Ig Labs on board again at some point next month with their testnet soon to be released. We'll probably get KRI back on again soon. Rory was very excited to do it again, and he very much enjoyed that stream. He was very excited about it. And when Rory gets going, you can't stop him. So there'll be more content with him soon enough, and you'll get more insight on what's being built soon enough as well. Rory is the real deal, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. But anyways, family, that being said, thank you for tuning in today's Casper Crypto livestream. If you enjoyed Who's Buying Render, not yet, but I will be. Not yet, but I will be. That's one of my assets in my portfolio for the AI pick. If you enjoyed, leave a like, share your friends, subscribe for more. If you want to find out more about crypto and Casper, check out the free community, check out the VIP, and all the links are down below in the description. And there should be some more links coming out soon as well, but I'll keep you posted on that. That being said, family, stream tomorrow probably won't be going on. I'll make an announcement tomorrow on the Discord server so you can find out then. Have a great day, good evening, good night, and I will see you all in the next one. Thank you very much, and take care.